YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about the song It's a Long Way There by the Little River Band. This song was part of the Little River Band's debut album in 1976. It's a great song, just a very rocking beat. A lot of good lead if you can do the lead part of this. I'll try to throw in a little bit of that. The guitar's in standard tuning. I have a little bit of reverb on my guitar, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you how to play it first, a snippet, and then I'll break it down for you. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on talking about how to play this great song. As I said before, the guitar's in standard tuning. I do have a little bit of reverb on the amp, nothing big on that. The song, if you've ever heard this song, there's two versions of the song. One that's played, a shortened version for the radio, and it doesn't have the finger pick intro. And then there's the long version that has the extended solo, the finger pick intro, and that's the one I'm going to talk about today. The song starts out on a it's almost a C chord type thing. Here, let me show you. You put your first finger on the third fret of the G string. You put your middle finger, or you can lay your first finger down on the second or on the third fret of the B string, and then you come across here with your ring finger to the fifth fret of the D string. And you're going to be just playing the three strings. So you're playing the D, G, and the B. So it's... It's this real slow pick. So it's do that from that position. Then you're going to cover the third fret of the D, the G, and the B string. You can just lay your finger down on that. And then you're going to go to a sort of an A7 suspended second, which is basically putting your first finger on the second fret of the D string, and then your ring finger on the third fret of the B string, and you're just playing those three strings again. Just sort of going down the scale in this little intro riff. And then you're going to just lift this finger, and then you're going to drop it down to the first fret of the D string. Okay, so let's listen to how that sounds in real time, and I'll try to get up close so you can see this. So it's like this. Second, A7 suspended second, I think. Drop down. Then you just let it go, and then you're going to play an open G minor seventh, and that's by laying your first finger across all the strings of on the third fret, and then you take your ring finger and you put it on the fifth fret of the A string. And you're just doing an open strum like that. So let's do it one more time, show you the intro. So it's sort of sets a really slow intro. And then the strum. Okay, then there's a slight pause, and then we're going to get into the Johnston shuffle type intro. And let me rotate the camera just a little bit so you can see this, because this all occurs up here on the on the 10th fret. And the 10th fret, you're making a what is essentially a, I guess it's a G minor 7th. Let's see. It is a G minor 7th on the 10th fret. You do that by you laying your first finger on the 10th fret of the A string, the D string, the G string, the B string, and the high E string. And then you put your middle finger on the 11th fret of the B string, and then you put your ring finger on the 12th fret of the D string. And you're not gonna play the low E in this. You're just gonna play the bottom 5 strings. So it's, and you got to get a little ring, because if you've ever heard Long Train Runnin' or other songs where they do the Johnston shuffle, and it's, and the way you're doing this is you're going to play a G minor 7th, and then you're just going to lift your fingers up and you do this open chord, usually from about the 4th string down, so you're not going to play the 5th string. And then you're going to sort of hammer back on to the G minor 7th again. So the way that sounds in real time is. Okay, and that's how you do that. Now you should probably use a pick. I do the finger pick and then I grab the pick, so it's, and you can kind of put palm muting in there if you want. And if you've listened to the long version of this, there's a guitar lead over the top of that. And the next chord, and let me readjust the camera. The next chord is back on the 3rd fret, and it's going to be a G minor 7th. Okay, it's the same. It's a G minor 7th, not up here on the 10th fret, but a G minor 7th on the 3rd fret. And as before, you just lay your fingers across all the strings on the 3rd fret, and then you just put your ring finger on the 5th fret of the A string. Now, there's a bass lead that's going on during this time, and a guitar lead that's going on during this time. Now, since you're playing it in solo acoustic guitar, you can sort of fake it by doing something like this. It's sort of getting a little, just sort of walking up the strings from the 3rd, 5th, 3rd, 5th, so it's, yeah, and that's 3rd, 5th on the A, and then 3rd, 5th on the D, so it's. Setting the beat. And then it's going to get into the first verse. You do that for like 2 bars, and then you're going to start the first verse. And the first verse starts on that G minor 7th. So it's people on the road and getting. So it's people on the road and getting to its C in the first position. Nowhere. Okay? There's a fill after the first C in the verse, and it starts from the 5th fret, and you just basically going from the 5th fret on the B string You're going to go to the 3rd fret on the B string, to the 1st fret of the B string, and the way that sounds is, so it's, okay, the way that sounds real time is like this. People on the road and getting nowhere. I'm on the road to see. Okay, so once you do that little slide down, you're going to go back to the G minor 7th. I'm on the road to C. Back to the C again. And then you're going to do a little lift off of your this is C in the 1st position, but you're going to lift these fingers off and only leave this one. This is sort of a C, not a C/D. So it's, and you just do one strum upward and then back down. You're just doing a sort of a lift off there, just to get that sound. That's a fill, a little fill. Okay? And after you do that little lift off, you're going to go back to a C minor, which is in the 3rd fret. And you make that by laying all your fingers on the 3rd fret of all the strings, and then you put your middle finger on the 4th fret of the B string, and then you put your ring finger on the 5th fret of the D string, and then you put your little finger on the 5th fret of the G string. And you're going to be playing from the 5th string down. You're not going to play the low E on this. So you got a minor chord, C minor. If anything is anywhere. And then you're going to go to a B flat, and you're going to have to do a B flat in the 8th position. It's a bar chord, 8th position, B flat. Waiting. So the way that sounds real time is, if anything is anywhere, waiting. Okay? Then you're going to go to a D, 1st position. And I go. And then you're going to kind of go up the scale with different chords in D. So the first one is a D. And then you're going to go to a D suspended 4th by just putting your pinky on the 3rd fret of the high E. D suspended 4th. And then you're going to have to do the super stretch by putting your pinky on the 5th fret of the high E. That is going to get you the D 5th. Okay. And then you're going to slide up to the 7th fret on the high E, the B, and the G string. And you're just playing those last strings right there. That is a D6th, no 5th. Okay? So the way that sounds together is like this. So it's, let me back up a little bit. The feeling of being together to be flat to a D. So it's D, D suspended 4th, D 5th, D 6th, no 5th. Okay? And then you're going to go back to the 2nd line, or the 3rd line of the verse, which starts on a G minor 7th. Every night I walk around the city. Same little fill. Seems like I never know. Do that same little fill, the little bounce fill. To a C minor. Same thing, D, D suspended 4th, D 5th, D 6th, no 5th. And then you're finally into the verse. And then you're going to do it. The verse is kind of interesting because you're going to do it by playing a C first in the 1st position. I'm going to play it first and then I'll explain it. It's a long way there. It's a long way to where I'm going. Okay, so you're going to start on a C. It's a long way there. And then you're going to immediately slide up here and do a half bar C on the 3rd fret by laying your first finger across the 3rd fret of the A, the D, the G, the B, and the high E. Then you're going to do your half bar by laying your ring finger on the 5th fret of the D string, the G string, and the B string. And you're going to be, and the reason you're going to do it that way is because you got to do a little bounce here. Go. And the way you do that is just, it's a real short little stab, and you're going to go C. And you're just going to lift off these fingers and play this chord, which I think is the C11th, if I'm not mistaken. So it's, so you're going from a C, and then you're going to go to an E flat, do the half bar. I do the half bar on the on the 8th fret. First finger's on the 8th fret of the or the 6th fret. I'm sorry, the 6th fret of the A string. And then you lay that your finger across all those strings, and then you lay your ring finger on the 8th fret of the D string, the G string, and the B string, and then you're just, it's an E flat. And you just slide up 2 frets to an F, back to a G minor 7th in the 3rd position. And it sounds really good to put that little bass fill in there. So let me go ahead and play that again. It's a long way there. It's a long way to where I'm going. See how that sounds? It's a long way there. It's a long way to where I'm going. And now the guitar, the lead guitar is playing a lot of lead over the top of that. Okay, so now we're going to get into the kind of the second verse. It's a little bit different than the first. Same chords though. It's hey, it starts on a G minor 7th. Everybody, can't you feel? C, and you don't do the little fill. But there's something that you know. C minor. And it's gone. Do a little fill. Live for the day when G minor 7th I can hear to a C. And then go to a C minor 7th. Back to a G minor 7th. And I feel to an F, first position F chord. To a C, to the whole of my life. And a little pause, tacit. Never knowing wrong. And then it's going to get into this whole thing with the long way. Okay, it's a long way. Long, long, long way. Keep on trying. And it's sort of about 8 lines of this, and they're all, it's all the same. It's G minor 7, and then you're just going to do that little bounce from the C to the C11, or it may even be a B flat with a C bass. But whatever it is, it's that shape. You're playing from the 5th string down. It's a long way. It's a long, long, long way down. Gonna keep on trying. To a C. To an E flat. Back to the G minor 7th. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm showing you the extended version, so this is kind of lengthy. So You have to bear with me on this. Okay, the third verse of this, and this is normally in the shortened radio version, this is eliminated. But the third verse is played exactly the same as you did the first verse. So it's been away from home for such a long time. Okay, same thing. Just going to do that, and the long way there is exactly the same as you did before. Now, then there's going to be sort of a little pre into the solo, and it starts on a G minor 7, goes to a C, to a B flat. Oops, I'm sorry. B flat, I'm sorry, right here. Yeah, B flat. You're going to play those three chords, so it's G minor 7th to a C, to a B flat, to a B flat with an A bass, and then you're going to go back to the slow picking thing again. Whoops, sorry there. The song sort of winds down at this point again in advance of the solo. Does that twice, and then it goes to the solo, and you're just basically soloing over G minor 7 to a C. There's an extended 8-bar solo on this. So you're just going to strum over that. If you have a good lead guitarist, you can play that. And then you're going to go to everybody knows it's a long way there. It's G minor 7 to a C. Oh, it's a long, long way there. Traveling around starts getting me down. I know. It's a long, long, long way there. And it's just back and forth again. And you're going to do that for sort of a pre-outro. And then you're going to finally start the outro. And then the outro starts on a G minor. It goes, hey everybody, yeah, to a C. To a C minor, feel that there's something. Feel it, hey everybody, yeah. From G minor to a C minor. Okay, then the final outro of the song is going back to the picking of those, just like you did on the intro. It's going to go. And it just ends on a G minor 7th. Well, hopefully that'll give you some insight on how to play this great tune. The Little River Band was a great band. There was some really good guitar licks, and if you have someone who can play lead, this song can really go. So, as before, if you have any questions about this video or any of the other videos I've made, just go ahead and leave a question or comment at my YouTube channel, and I'll get back with you when I can. So, as before, have a great day, and we'll catch you later.